Hey Sci guys, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be taking you through one of my absolute favorite things. I'm going to be doing this video all about all of my piercings. I think I currently have 15 of the suckers in my body at this moment. I have been pierced over 30 times, and body modification, including piercing, is definitely in my top 3 things that I am most passionate about. So let's get right into it, shall we? I've just realized I've forgotten to get myself a beverage, so I'll be right back with the Diet Coca-Cola. Oh shit, I actually almost forgot to put this light on again. I taped it to my desk. Let's bring it in all nice and close. This is just gonna be a really quick blanket overview. My most recent piercing is my gestural piercing. I would say that I've had it for about 6-7 weeks. I'll look it up properly and I'll put a little note on the video because I'm not sure exactly how long I've had it, but I would say it's about 2 months at this point, maybe a little bit less. I felt this one. This piercing is the most painful facial piercing that I've had. Both nostrils, my septum, my Ashley, and my tongue were all totally fine. Ish. The gestural, I shed a couple of tears for that one. That felt really intense. Maybe because it's through more skin, but it's not really. It's about 8mm of flesh that it's through. So when I talk about my gestural, that is the piercing that starts right here, where a philtrum or Medusa piercing would normally go. But it goes vertically and comes out the bottom of your lip down there. It's essentially a vertical labret, but through the top lip. It has a curved barbell in it at the moment. It is an 8mm and a metal threadless piece of jewelry with a sapphire ends. A sip of a drink and then I'll explain it to you. At the end where I took that sip, you close your mouth around the glass once the liquid is in your mouth, if that makes sense. You don't notice this until you have to when you have a gestural piercing. Let's do it again. Take a sip for yourself right now out of anything and you'll know exactly what I mean. You close your mouth over the glass or the cup after you take that sip, and the jewelry would just get in the way and it would push it and move it and be annoying. I went to my local cafe and I just stole like 50 straws. I didn't steal them, I buy coffee there every fucking day. If I'm paying $7 a day for a coffee, you guys, I can have these straws, you know, for my personal use. So I had them all, like, you know, these sealed straws. Great, because they were sterile. And I just used those for a couple of weeks while it was healing up. I originally had it pierced with a 12mm curved barbell. So, of course, when the swelling went down, I had 4mm of extra bar poking through. So it was really, really annoying before I had the bar changed out. I had the bar changed out probably 4 weeks after I had it pierced, so it was totally healed and fine. And I had this threadless neo-metal piece put in when I was in America. So that's the gestural piercing. It's a little bit annoying, and since we're talking about lips, let's go into my Ashley piercing, which is not as rare as a gestural, I suppose. So it's just a labret piercing, but it is through your lip, not below it. It comes out there. I've had this piercing for quite some time now. The pain was absolutely nothing. I'd give it like a 2. Just felt very kind of just hot and small. It wasn't painful, it wasn't achy, it wasn't anything like that. It was just this little like hot prick and it was done. Thing with me, when I get a piercing, I swell. This is just the thing with my body generally. If I get sick, I get really sick, but then I get better a lot faster than most people. When I get a piercing, I swell to the gods. But it normally heals really quickly. The guy used, of course, a much longer bar, probably a 12 or something like that. And I woke up the next day in so much pain and it had actually embedded. So the flat back, that part of the jewelry there, had actually embedded inside my lip about half. So it was cutting into the back of my lip because it was so swollen and it hurt so fucking badly. And this is at like 3 AM or whatever time I was going to bed, and I was like, shit, I can't go and get this sorted until, you know, the piercer opens in the morning. So I was a whole fucking night, I was in so much pain, I was so scared something awful was gonna happen. So I went in and the guy changed it for me and it was fine after that, but it was fucking horrible. So yeah, the only thing you really need to do with lip piercings is just kind of rinse with clear water anytime there's anything in your mouth other than clear water. Right now in my Ashley, I am wearing a Diamante end, just a plain, I believe, 10mm internally threaded bar. A little blue martini end for that. While we're on the subject of face, let's go into my septum piercing. I've had my septum piercing for an extremely long time. I actually had my septum pierced when I was still in high school. The reason I got my septum pierced is because you can put them up so no one can see them. My mother didn't even know about it for months after I got it because I was a little Houdini about it. I really enjoyed having my septum pierced. It was a really nice feeling for me. This is gonna sound absolutely bizarre to most people I know. It was a very deep pain. Most piercings, it's just like, you know, it's kind of slides through your flesh, you're good. With this one, I feel like kind of just, it wasn't like, it was like, it at least felt like it was a few seconds. Felt like the needle was being pushed through slowly because the flesh is thicker or whatever. It's not though, because I know it's about 6mm or a 1/4 inch for you Americans. I'm pretty sure that's right. Getting my septum pierced, I liked it. Didn't really have any issues with the healing process as far as I can remember. It was quite a long time ago. The stretching is absolutely brutal. It is the most painful modification that I've done that I can recall. Septum is stretched to 8 gauge, which is 3mm, or I don't know what the fuck in your American shit, like 1/8 of an inch. So I'm currently wearing an industrial strength clicker with sleepy lavender opals, and I'm also wearing a retainer, and they are both 14 gauge, so that there's 3mm in my septum, so that the hole doesn't shrink up. I used to have like a septum clicker adapter at 8 gauge, but it just didn't work out well for my nose. That product just didn't work out for me. So now if I want to wear a smaller piece of jewelry like this one, which I like to wear a lot because I spend a lot of fucking money on it, I'll just wear a retainer or something like that in the piercing as well, so that it stays at 8 gauge. I also have both of my nostrils pierced. The second piercing always hurts a lot more. And that's because your body has already gone to a minor form of shock when you get the first piercing. So when you get the second piercing, it really freaks out your body and the pain is a lot worse. So what the guy did for my nose, he basically went bam bam, needle cannula, really fast. He was so quick. And then, like, you know, I went and had a look at it because I thought it looked really funny with both needles coming out. I wish I had a photo of it because it looked quite hilarious. And then he went ahead and switched them both to nostril screws at the moment, and this nostril is still giving me grief. I had a lot of trouble with this nostril actually. I'm wearing a really small titanium nostril screw with a small red gem in it, and on the other side I am wearing, I believe it's just steel, and it is a blue piece that matches my septum pretty well. I don't really like this screw very much because the thing's really long and it likes to stick out of my nostril and stuff, but I think it's a lot prettier than the teeny red one. I don't know my left and right. In my right ear, you've probably seen a lot of in my makeup tutorials. So in this ear, I have one lobe piercing, which is stretched to 1 gauge, which is 7mm. I do want to stretch this one to the same size as this one. It's just taken its sweet time. I've been stretching my lobes for about 8 years? 6 or 7 years I've been stretching my lobes for. And we have my horrible industrial. This piercing is very new. I got it just a week or so before I got my gestrum. It's still very tender. There's a lot of hypertrophic scarring, but wearing in it is a gorgeous industrial strength Blurple titanium 14 gauge industrial bar, and I fucking love it so much. The reason I got this piercing is because I got this barbell for sale on Body Art Forms. Worth $60 or $70, and I got it for like 20 in a bargain bin. So I was like, hey, I guess I'm getting my industrial pierce now. As you can see, the hypertrophic scarring is pretty bad. I'm doing a lot. I'm babying this one to the shit. This is why I haven't shaved my sides in so long and why they're so long, because I'm so afraid of this getting knocked and touched. Spoken about my stretched first. I have a second, which I am wearing a, I know it's not niobium, so it's probably stainless steel. I'm sorry, Mom. It's just a clicker in my second. I actually have stretched this piercing to 8 gauge, same size as my septum, 3mm before. And I kind of just go up and down in size, but it was never really happy at 8 gauge, just because of the placement. Like, it's half lobe, half cartilage. It was knocking the cartilage at 8 gauge, so I took it down. So I generally wear 14 gauge jewelry in it, but sometimes I'll wear 12 or 10 or something like that, and it usually goes in pretty fine. These guys I've literally had for so long. I got these done. For about 8 years. I'm currently just wearing anodized titanium and opal. So I've got black opal in the top one and then blue opal in the lower one now. They're just your standard flatbacks, 16 gauge cartilage piercings that I got when I was young. Let's talk about Cyanide's body piercing. Hey, the reason I wore this outfit. In my navel, I have one inverse navel piercing. The piece I am wearing in my lower navel at the moment is a industrial strength anodized purple titanium with lavender opals, the same that's in my septum. You can still see the really obvious scar from the navel piercing that I had for about 10 years before I took it out. At the moment, I haven't had it for a super long time, maybe 1 year. I fucking hate navel piercings so much more than any other piercing. I also have both of my nipples pierced. They are pierced on an angle. I might do, like, I don't know, a diagram thing over my shirt so you can see. There are my nipples there. They are pierced on an angle, so they point diagonally, like so. Maybe I'll show you kind of jewelry that I wear in my nipples here. Of course, my nipples are pierced at 14 gauge. You should never have them pierced at a smaller gauge than that, because there's more likely to be problems and the cheese cutter effect and all that fun shit. So this is one of the custom bars that I normally wear in my nipples. It is anametal, purple anodized titanium with black opals in the center and purple opals on the ends, on the outsides. So these are the kind of pieces that I like to wear my nipples. As you can see, I'm a slut for fancy jewelry. Getting my nipples pierced really wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. I would prefer it over a navel piercing. Obviously, it's pretty darn painful, but it's really not the worst thing in the world, or it wasn't for me. I tell people a lot, because people always ask me, what's the most painful piercing? Will it hurt if I get XYZ pierced? Or did it hurt when you got this pierced? It's different for everyone. So I say to people, if you already have a piercing, say for example, you have your navel pierced, and you want to get your lip pierced, and you want to know if it's going to hurt more or less, I say to that person, pinch your navel. And then pinch yourself using the same pressure on your lip. And, you know, which one felt more intense for you, like which one hurt more, basically. So I'd be like, grab yourself there, grab yourself here, and pinch with the same pressure, and then, you know, which one felt more intense for you. And that's pretty much the only way you're gonna know what's gonna be more painful. My nipples were never very sensitive. That's why I got them pierced, to increase the sensitivity along with looking pretty. So yeah, and I will definitely be doing videos about certain piercings and stretching and other modification videos in the future, because as I've said a couple of times, I am extremely passionate about safe, healthy, beautiful body modifications. So thank you so much for watching this video. I'm sorry if it's a bit long, but I have a lot of piercings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Cheers for watching this long shitty video about my piercings. And I will see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to leave me a comment, because I thrive on validation from strangers.